All right, guys. Welcome to season 2 of the new name is the Ghost Syndicast. We're rebranding. Big
I
news.
like that one.
Um and I just to start it off strong, I want to play something for you guys. Just listen here.
Why so serious?
I think that really encapsulates how
I
I've
I agree with you once
Why
again.
do you do this? What? I thought you said this was gonna be a higher quality one.
Oh.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's season 2 now. The Ghost Syndicast. What a time. It's been about 3 years, give or take, since we last recorded. A lot of stuff's happened. A lot of changes. But you know what they say. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So anyways, I'm back here with the boys. Dylan, Gwen, Nick. How y'all been?
Does anyone really say that? The more things change, the more they stay the same.
I do. And I'm hosting, so you know. So, how's everyone been?
I'll go first. Yeah. When was actually good question. When was the actual last episode? I know you said we went
January.
before.
Oh no, we joked that it wasn't off schedule, but the last episode we recorded was reviewing the anime awards of 2021, which came out in early February 2022. So that's the last time we recorded. We started recording in September of 2021. So it's been about 3 years.
Okay. So I guess for me, a lot has happened since then. So I think the soonest thing to happen after that, I joined my fraternity, Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia. I bloody love it. We just do music a lot of the time and hang out. It's great. The most important thing I've done is I got cuffed. I got a woman who I love very, very much. As of recording, our 2-year anniversary is in exactly 2 weeks, so I'm very excited about
Nice.
that.
Congratulations.
Very sick.
Thank you. And
I don't know if my mic's picking it up, but I am clapping for you.
It is not.
Yeah, it's
All right.
fine.
Well, I have noise suppression on Discord, so
I
maybe
know,
it'll
dude.
pick it up on the actual recording. We'll see.
But and besides that, I am keeping on studying Japanese. Well, I did that at school. Done with school officially this semester. And yeah, we'll see what happens after that. But that's the main thing that's been going on with me.
Nice. Nice. Gwen, how have you been?
No real changes. Everything's the same.
I mean,
Pretty
you know,
good. Oh, I
schools.
changed majors.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, you said 21? Was I in college?
Yeah.
I think I was in
Yeah.
college.
We were all in college.
We all were in college.
That was
That does
our
make sense.
our sophomore year.
Oh yeah. I'm still in school. Still gonna be in there for a bit longer. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. How about you, Nick?
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
I've been pretty busy over this break.
interesting. What have you been doing?
It all started that fateful day.
I think you
I'm
should.
over this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm
You
I'm
could,
practically
try
jacking off my
and-
microphone at this point. We ain't doing that.
You were definitely gonna be peeking on the audio. That was terrible.
Oh no. I can make it peak.
All right, no,
I don't
it's
think we need to.
it's okay, man. You know, we're promising
Sure.
better quality audio, more or less.
Oh, is that like an actual promise? We're gonna stick to that?
I mean, that's why I tried to balance the sound so that because episode 7 of the first season, Drew was so quiet, and now
It was multiple episodes. I was kind of off.
yeah, I mean probably. I just
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
specifically episode 7 was almost
All right,
impossible
enough
to
about
hear.
the show. Let's focus on me.
Yeah.
Whatever one's
All right, so Since the last time we recorded, so many things. We graduated high school.
No?
I think
Not
I
not
We just went
true.
over this.
I think I got accepted into middle school before that. There was, I was already in college when we started, as were the rest of you, and I'm sure you remember.
Mm.
I don't-
There was the band. We formed the band. We were still planning that Christmas release.
Yeah.
And,
I swear to God, bro. Christmas, it's coming out. Not saying which Christmas.
I
Just Christmas.
I also got tied down. It's
Yeah.
wonderful news.
The ball and chain, as they say.
I have a girlfriend. I love her very much. And obviously big congratulations to Dylan for your 5,000 year anniversary in 2 weeks. Yeah, my anniversary is actually coming up pretty soon too. It's
9 months and 17 days away.
Why do
It's-
you know
no,
it's
Because it's the day before my birthday.
Oh, it is.
That-
Yeah.
it's actually 8 months and 17 days away.
Huh?
So yeah, check your facts. That's coming up real soon though, so get
What?
excited. I know I am.
8 months would put it in June.
I don't think you're right about that.
Okay. You're right. We are
That's just
recording
me,
this a different month than what I see.
That's true.
Yeah,
For
my
sure.
fault.
All right, yeah, nothing else interesting at least.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, for me, I transferred schools to a place that I'm much happier at, as I'd gone into in an episode or two in the past. I was not happy at my other school, and I changed my
Ohio
major.
State University.
Yeah. I went to Ohio, Sakai, whatever he says. Yeah. And now I transferred to what's a good fake school? Harvard. Yep. I go to Harvard now, guys. Make sure to greet me on campus, and I'm always willing to sign autographs. I'll be at every
Yeah, I
class
just got
every
into
day.
Brigham Young.
I
Gonna shove you into a
literally
locker.
I literally take 10 classes a day, 5 days a week at Harvard. I'm top of the class in every single one of them. It's incredible, really. I'm like quadruple majoring. It's
What
wild.
do you mean incredible? Did you think that wouldn't be the case?
Yeah, I mean, most people would probably think that someone wouldn't be able to pull that off. That's all I'm saying.
They just
But-
don't know you well enough.
Yeah, exactly.
man.
They don't know I'm built like that. No, actually, I'm not gonna say the school I do go to. I'm not trying to dox myself, but I am much happier here
Everyone fucking goes to that school.
in the state we live in, which I'm not gonna specify.
People move
you just
from
reveal we're
way
American?
other states.
What?
Did you just reveal that we're
Who said
American?
anything about Americans, stupid?
Oh my god.
Good job.
Oi, I'm sorry, bro. I forgot we live in Birmingham. It's not
Live from Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we live in
Sounds
Birmingham.
like
I'm gonna be
Liverpool.
honest with you, our loyal viewers. I'm actually Danny G. Sorry to surprise you all. It's me.
More like Wazzy G.
I'm not supposed
That's
to
called
call him that.
Yo, was that a
That's a-
joke or something?
That's a callback. Yeah. That's his name in the band.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, but like besides switching schools, not much has realistically changed. I've probably played way more Magic. Kind of stopped watching anime. Not like intentionally.
Oh,
I
good.
just
I'm so proud of you, dude.
thanks. I just like don't care enough. I'd rather just read manga if I consume that general media.
No, that's not- you got worse.
Yeah, anime stinks. I can't believe it took us like this long to realize.
Yeah.
Anime just sucks. I hate anime.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
oh,
only half joking.
you know what's crazy
Yeah.
is that me and Gwen both were able to catch up to One Piece in the
I
time,
forgot we did
like
that, yeah.
completely disconnected reading experiences. We both caught up to One Piece since the last time we recorded. Like
How the
it
fuck
did
would it take
not
you 3
overlap.
years to catch up on 10 episodes of television.
So I'm actually talking about a different
I thought it was a good episode.
series. You're thinking of One Piece,
Yeah, that
the
drives me crazy.
Netflix show. I'm thinking of One Piece, that like ancient book, like the scripture from 437.
Ancient Sumerian texts.
Yeah, they like recovered it in a temple to Buddha. Yeah, it's not that
Rules, it
good,
was
but
written on where
That's
someone, like,
weird.
floating there. It's kind of weird.
yeah. But you know what? The biggest news, not a change to me per se, but the biggest thing that happened in these 3 years. Can't believe we weren't recording during this. Blink 182 got back together. They put out a banger album. Linkin Park
broke
just
up?
yeah, they
Dude, I was gonna say the same thing.
Blink 182 broke up in 2003-ish, 2004, and they reformed in 2011 for amazing album Neighborhoods. But the tensions in the band were still high, and Tom DeLonge left after their EP Dogs Eating Dogs. And then they got the lead singer of Alkaline Trio to fill in for him, but it just wasn't the same. And then in 2020, Mark Hoppus got diagnosed with some kind of cancer. I'm not sure which. Kind of brought the three of them back together. And then last year they put out their first album in like as that trio since 2011 called One More Time. Banger. This year they put out the deluxe edition with like 8 more tracks, all pretty solid. And then now my hero, Mike Shinoda, has come back to the music scene and reformed Linkin Park with mostly the same members, just replacing Chester Bennington with Emily Armstrong, who does a great job, in my opinion, on the songs.
Hey, yo, back up.
What?
Let's pay our respects where they're due. That is not a replacement. That's just another one.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, calling themselves still Linkin Park is not entirely fair. Like, you can't have the classic sound of Linkin Park without Chester. But unfortunately, that could never happen again. So I think they're doing their best, and I think they're doing a good job from the 2 singles that have been released as of right now. Album comes
Those
out
two things, like,
November
are like
15th.
2 of my top 3 favorite Linkin Park songs, honestly.
They did.
I mean,
to be fair, they do. It's like they don't have obviously Chester's voice, but the music is like the same.
yeah.
They haven't
It's
changed a bit.
I saw the YouTuber who like talks about metal stuff, Nick Nocturnal, described the new song "Heavy As the Crown" as
Shout out Nick Nocturnal.
yeah, great guy. Well, I don't know him personally. Makes good content.
I do.
Oh, okay. Is he cool or no?
Yes.
Okay, dope. Yeah. He said "Heavy As the Crown" is the most Linkin Park sounding Linkin Park song of all time. And I tend to agree. It is being used for the wrong things. It's the theme song for the League of Legends Championship. But you
It's
know,
Crazy
definitely
enough,
sound like-
League of Legends' best thing is they consistently have some pretty fire championship songs.
yeah, last year wasn't it that Lil Nas X song?
That was 2 years ago. Last year,
Oh,
I think
2
it was
years.
K-pop.
Oh,
Actually, it's K-pop a lot, but when it's not K-pop, it's something that you would never guess to be a lead song.
is Riot based in Korea or no? I know the
No, they're
MOBA.
American. but I
Okay,
think we
okay.
got a lot of Korean
'cause
players.
Dota is based in Korea, right?
Actually, it might be a lot of.
The team that made Dota.
I thought they were in Sweden. I don't know actually.
Oh,
That one.
I don't know.
No, wait, no, it's made by Valve.
Oh, Dota's made by Valve.
Thought so.
Oh,
Am I
I
lying?
didn't know. I guess
I'm supposed to be
Dota's
fact
just yeah, you're the fact checking guy. But Dota's just like really big in Korea, so I guess that's why I associated it.
Is...
But yeah, a lot of great music things. Also, very unfortunate news last month. We learned quite a large tragedy. Dave Grohl has been cheating on his wife.
Oh,
Sucks.
yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
I-
The way I found out is through my like one of my friends I follow on Instagram, and they were just like they just posted like never idolize anybody because this is what
Right.
happened. It's from some guy named Dave. I'm like, oh, it's whatever, who cares? And I
Yeah,
click on the
it's
Dave going,
Dave.
no,
Dave True Stories, I
Holy-
think, is his Instagram account or something.
yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. It's that timing was awful because this was like only like a few months after I actually started listening to Foo Fighters.
I saw a
No,
meme that was like,
for me.
I can't believe Dave Grohl would do this. I I was a huge fan of his adultering. I can't believe his music sounds like that. If you didn't know, Dave Grohl was like infamous for cheating on his partner before he got married to his current wife, who now he has publicly admitted to cheating on. So, I read his book
Yeah, 'cause
though.
there's the whole perception of Dave Grohl as being like such a stand-up guy, volunteering at
Yeah.
like soup kitchens and just
Yeah, I
being
mean, I
like
still
generally like a
think.
nice guy to be around.
Yeah, I think the perception is still that he is a good person
He's like a
outside
conscientious
of
and
his outside of this scandal, like outside of his love life, he's still considered a good person as far as I know. But
Mhm.
I mean, obviously,
That begs the question for
cheating on
anyone
your
that does
partner.
something. Could you just say they're still a good person outside of that bad thing they did?
Yeah, I mean,
Of course, you can do that with anybody, but
yeah.
like
I
if
feel like
I,
But
I don't know.
I will speak. Okay,
Yeah.
obviously, like if for him it seems to be just like the one thing. Obviously, not excusing it because that's obviously a horrible thing to do. But
Mm,
like if you have like I don't know who's like the worst person to ever live.
I mean,
Hitler.
yeah.
Yeah, like Hitler did a
It's a
lot of
good
bad
default.
things.
boo, pick a
He
better
was
one.
never in any sense like a good person, obviously. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you
I
know
mean,
what?
what?
There's that shit that Serge Tankian said. What do you bet the pilots at 9/11 were probably pretty chill dudes outside of that event?
Well, as
Serge
Serge
Tankian
Tankian said,
Yeah, I was gonna. That's
as
real.
as he said, it was the U.S.'s fault and they deserved it. And honestly, he's not entirely wrong. Like, I mean,
Honestly,
if you want to go
not.
from a purely historical perspective, like the
I mean, did he
U.S. did I mean, those weren't exact words, but
Yeah.
he said something bad enough that him and the rest of his band got put on a watch list
I read
following
the thing.
9/11.
It was essentially like he didn't say they deserved 9/11. It was like there was a like from
America did bad things. What did they think was going to happen,
yeah,
right?
the Middle East like had like a justified in their eyes a justifiable reason other than we hate America, America bad to commit 9/11.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fire.
Very interesting take to
Yeah.
say the least.
Pretty
Yeah.
fire I'm gonna say fire take,
You
but
know what?
fire reading. Very interesting read. Anyway.
I respect it. He's playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, except he's Armenian, so I think he actually feels more passionate about it than just playing devil's advocate.
Oh damn, that
This
dude wasn't kidding.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think so.
100%. I
Uh,
was looking at like just System of a Down releases, just to see their albums. I think the most recent thing is from like 2000, like 2022 or whatever. I
yeah,
haven't
but
listened to the
before
song, but the
that,
album, it's an album cover. It's just the
mhm.
Armenian flag, just
Before
edited
that
with
album
some other
got
shit.
released, they
I
had
think
been
it's
like
called like
broken
Defend the
up.
Homeland or something.
I think System of a Down broke up around like 2008 to 2010, like somewhere around there, and then like essentially retired and went their separate ways, and then they came back together later on in 2020, whatever you said. So I guess maybe that
Yeah,
happened since the last
2022
time.
maybe.
If that's crazy, they also got back together since the last time we recorded, as did Oasis. Um, don't really care
System
about
of a
that
Down was
much.
broken up?
What?
System of a Down was broken up?
Yeah,
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
yeah. There's a huge gap in their
2020.
discography.
It's called Protect the Land
Ah.
/ Genocidal Humanoids.
Whoa,
And
Alright,
it's just an Armenian flag.
that one's subtle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Armenian people did face genocide.
Have you ever listened to Prison
True
Song?
and real. I love
No,
Prison
but
Song.
you know what
I love that
songs
song
are?
so much.
Songs
Without ever listening to
are
that album.
genres, and genres belong to music. And that is a great segue into today's topic.
You really killed it, man.
Thank you.
You were solid on that one.
I
appreciate
when we
the effort.
started talking about Surge, I wanted to cut you off, but I wanted to also let you finish your thoughts, Dylan. That is, but yeah, I Figure, we're talking about music, which, by the way, I at least am advocating to be a bigger theme on this podcast now, as we are a band, of course. Look out for that Christmas release. Who knows which Christmas, but it'll be
Next
a
Christmas.
Christmas release. Yep.
Next Christmas.
Yep. Upcoming. Nope. Just
Next
next.
Christmas.
Yep.
Next Christmas.
So yeah, let's. Does anyone want to just go out on a limb and say the clickbaity take?
Music doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not real.
Doesn't exist.
Interesting.
Does music
Interesting.
even exist?
It is just an idea in someone's head. That's it. Nothing else.
Interesting.
Some weirdo thought it was real.
Actually, wait, I was
So-
saying that as a bit. Do any of us actually think that music isn't real?
Well, I mean,
I think music
I think to an
genres don't
extent.
exist.
I think it holds. The argument holds water at least.
I think music doesn't
Yeah, I'd
exist
agree.
when classified as a separation between music and then just other sound. It's either all music or none of it's music.
Okay. And I know
Well,
where
literally-
you're going with that. You want
Yes.
to talk about a specific genre, but before we get to that, let's go over genres more generally. So I think this is really interesting. So I've said before to y'all, I don't know if I told anyone else how I feel about this, that there's only two kinds of genres, jazz and rock, is what I used
That's
to
not
say.
true.
Okay, that's how I used to feel. Now since rock is a derivative of blues, and blues and jazz are similar, I don't know which came first. There's really only
Jazz came
one.
before rock. Jazz was a derivative of blues, popular around.
Yeah, rock's a
I think like
derivative of
peaked around
blues
like
too.
the 40s or so. Could be
It
very
might have
wrong,
been
but-
like-
and
it
then
might have
rock
been
followed
10 or-
jazz.
Yeah, I'm saying rock was a derivative of blues. So you answered my question of now jazz is a derivative of blues, which means blues is the only genre. But blues would be a derivative of, I don't know what would have come there, but eventually you get back to classical music, right? Like, and then if you keep going back, what do you even
are
get
we of
to?
the understanding that white people music is the only music that exists?
Wait, no. You're talking about jazz. Jazz is a purely black art form.
Bro, I literally
That's
watched
not
Whiplash.
true.
It was-
Jazz is not a purely
okay.
black art form. It
Okay, not
started out as
pure-
a
okay, not-
primarily black art form, but now
Well,
all kinds of
invented
people.
it.
I mean, jazz has origins
Yeah,
in okay, jazz was popularized by the African Americans,
Yes,
specifically
but that
in the
is
South, Louisiana, the
very, very
Creoles.
different from what you just said before.
Okay, purely yes, I misspoke. But
It
it
has
was like jazz are okay. Their jazz roots dating all the way half across the world. In Africa, jazz dates back to slave songs in the mid 1800s. Jazz has a lot of history, and its entire history is with African Americans. So
yeah.
yeah,
It it is rooted in African American culture. I would not argue against that. Maybe someone else would. If someone would, I'm sure he's in.
Or is this
The
an
conversation
opening
right
for
now?
you to say something racist?
I mean,
Uh,
it's in
oh,
character,
maybe.
but I'll leave it up
I'll
to you.
abstain.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, the point I was getting to was, jazz then would be a derivative of what came before it, which eventually you get back to classical, and before that would be, it was Baroque after classical or before, I forget. Whatever. You go back far enough and you get to cavemen banging rocks.
Damn right.
So, but now this connects to Drew's point. The caveman's
Before cavemen
banging.
banging rocks, it was just the background cosmic noise.
That's,
Kind of there.
that's not what I was
not
transitioning
what
to
you're
there.
trying to say.
I feel like that note on our
Oh,
list is more of a joke, but I was gonna say
did
cavemen
think that was a
banging
joke.
rocks together, like that might not have any rhyme or reason. They're just like making noise, right? But that then influence, like they find a rhythm to it that influences the next
yeah.
iteration, so on
Oh.
and so forth. So I was trying to give you a segue into the genre you wanted to talk about.
Are you talking about breakcore?
Yeah. So, cavemen banging rocks together is just like arbitrary sounds,
Which is
mostly.
essentially what breakcore just is. It's
Yeah.
just sounds. The best ones.
So that goes into
Don't-
what defines something as music.
I mean, I made the whole point before, and I'll repeat it again. Of realistically, if you just play like TV static, just objectively random noise. There's absolutely no order to it at all. Just pure nothing. And then you just add little bits of order to it, a tiny bit at a time. To what point does it really become music? And I think since you can't really define the exact point, then there is no exact point. The whole entire range has to be some amount of music.
In which case, do you define music as intent rather than just
Intent.
things just sounding like they belong together?
I suppose that's a pretty good definition of it. Just
Yeah, I mean,
intentional sound. I guess music is then just whatever someone saying whatever someone wants it to be is a bit cheesy and not exactly where I'm going.
no, but I think
if
that's
someone
how
has
I
the goal
think
of
about
making
it.
music and then they make a sound, that sound is music.
Yeah, which then means there's no real basis for what music is. It's entirely on the creator, right?
Yeah.
So then,
And if anything,
does
can be,
music even
then
exist?
exactly.
I feel
Not really
like
that,
Making
like-
it very hard for me to play devil's advocate here.
Because we're so.
because we're right.
I feel like one of us might be making this point a little bit more of a joke than the other.
No, I mean, like I tend to enjoy things as they are, but like if you want to,
You enjoy things?
I enjoy the things I enjoy. I don't enjoy things I don't enjoy, but the things I do enjoy, I enjoy.
You enjoy them.
But
Boy,
like
howdy,
if
boy,
you
boy.
want to like think deeper about something like origins of music and whatnot, then yeah, I'd say I agree with this, but you know, saying the statement of does music even exist, I can't say that with a straight face. That's obviously meant to be like super out there and like get people going like what the fuck is this guy talking about? Which I think is like a hilarious way to bring up a topic, really snag their attention with some out there sentence, and then, you know, we're explaining how it actually kind of makes sense, but
Andrew discovers clickbait.
yeah, but in real life.
I should find a way to
That's true.
write a paper on this.
I just say that shit like when if I'm like trying to grab someone's attention, I'll say something not what I mean, but like really exaggerated, and then they'll go what, and then I'll be like, well, not that, but you know, and then explain the
You do
nuance.
that, don't you?
I used to do that, and then I started catching myself like, I sound like such a fucking idiot.
Hey man, I still do it. It is what it is.
Hey, yo, no offense, though.
Yeah, none taken. I mean, you know, there's bliss in acting like an idiot. Life's
Oh,
more
dude,
fun that
yeah.
way.
Believe me, I know. Did we not found an entire band on that basis?
Yeah.
Yeah, look
Kind
out for
of.
the next
Christmas release,
our
next
first song
Christmas.
finally gets released.
Yep. Haven't
guess, okay,
decided
so
which
now we've-
song, but
Yeah, so now we've kind of hit, the point that, yeah, music is a real thing. But then, like, yeah, we
well,
did.
Who made
we
that
we kind
point?
of
I'll make
established that
point.
it
music
it
does
isn't.
exist, and it's very distinguishable from sounds.
We established that
In fact,
while
alright.
it exists, it isn't a thing.
No,
the
you
other way
established that.
Yeah,
It-
Drew and I both said it exists in the sense of its creator's vision. Thus,
Uh-huh.
if
Alright,
I
Dylan,
go
get
into
'em.
something randomly tapping like my desk right now, this is music, and I upload it to SoundCloud, it might have 0 listens, but I say it's music. Thus, it is a form of music, which then goes into a different point we have, which maybe we'll hit honestly throughout this conversation, which is there such thing as bad music? Which I'm gonna go
Yes.
out on a limb and
Well,
say
let
yes,
him
but
have that
well,
explain
yeah,
why
well,
Okay,
he's
but
wrong.
let's go one by one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So there is. So are we all
One by one,
set?
yes.
Do we all agree that there is music? Music is a real thing, and you can define.
well, yeah, I
music?
agree that music's
I
exist. Yeah, see, that's why the statement "does music even exist?" and then saying no, it doesn't is very attention grabbing, but it's not actually how I feel. Like obviously, music exists, which was established by the fact that saying, you know, if a person has intention to create music,
Okay,
that
I
is
just want to
music.
make
So
sure
yes.
because we brought up the question. Now we have to answer it. You know, we
Okay.
can't leave our viewers on the cliffhanger. Viewers are
Of course,
probably
of
Yeah,
too
course.
stupid
it
to figure
truly
out the
will be
answer
just
themselves.
clickbait.
Oh yeah, I just want to point out we used to have a bit where we would say how many viewers we have. I want to skyrocket that number. We used to say, like 100 billion. Nah. 1 more trillion. That's a number I made up. Um so
Oh, I've
many.
heard that number before.
Oh, word, yeah. Probably from me.
Dude, I just
'cause
looked it up. That's a real number.
source me. So, we've got like every alien in the universe listening to the Ghost Syndicast now. They were like, "Oh, they rebranded. Got a peep game. Lock in." As that one TikToker says. All right. Anyway, sorry. Go on,
Gotta
Dylan.
give credit.
I don't remember his name.
So I get okay. So we moved on to music as a thing. I guess how do
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do we want to divert into like, you know, or what do are genres a real thing? You know, how do you define it? How many genres are there? How do you wanna
Oh,
where do you wanna go from
I
here?
don't know if I want to go into exactly that because there are some real pretentious snobby people who will be like, "Oh, this isn't metalcore. This is post math rock death influenced core." And it's like, "Yo, it ain't that deep." Like
I think
Well, then I guess
the
I
word
guess
core
for,
confirms to me it's not real. Genres don't exist. Like,
I
like
guess
you could slap alternative in front of anything. You could slap core
yeah.
after anything. It literally
It's
is all
not
bullshit.
just rock and roll. It's alternative rock and roll. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Thank you very much for making it
Genres
clear.
are like the concept of coming up with the biggest number, where whenever when someone says, "I've come up with the most specific genre," or "I've come up with the biggest number," you can just
I
make another subdivision or just add another
My guy
zero
has
next to
1
that.
billion power. Oh yeah, well my guy has 1 trillion. It's just that
Exactly.
over and
okay,
over
so we
again.
figured out that genres do exist then, but like are they important? I guess then if
They'll
Oh
if
no.
exist
we're
as a concept for
No.
of categorization, but they are completely abstract.
Yeah, like categorization
And
too
there's too
doesn't
many.
matter. Like you could hear a Bring Me the Horizon song widely labeled as a metalcore alternative metal like that genre band on like potentially 92.3 if it still existed, which was a local radio station that played alt
Does it
rock.
anymore?
No, it got bought out.
Oh, my dad listens to that all the time. That's
Yeah,
why.
I think now
It
he
does sort of exist. It's
well,
like it's on an
yeah.
HD station or like
Yeah, a Sirius XM type
Sirius
thing.
XM.
But
Yeah.
like specifically 92.3 used to play like Linkin Park, Blink 182, Green Day, Cage the Elephant, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like all, those classic, you know, rock bands that go briefly into other genres, but mostly just if you're a fan of rock music, you're going to like a lot of these songs. Bring Me the Horizon very well could be played on a station like that with some of their songs, and then others not so much, but they're going to be labeled something else. So
alright,
that
side
label doesn't
tangent.
really mean anything, right?
Side tangent. When you brought up 92.3, didn't you just dox what state we're from?
No, it's a local station. It's I doxed the general area.
Okay, so even more specifically, got it.
No, no. What?
United 2-3.
like
It's a New York City region. It doesn't reach that far.
I mean I suppose I don't know the exact reach of where it was played.
Tri-state
Should I
area
go
max.
okay. Should I go through and bleep out every single reference to
No.
that radio station
can
and
know.
what Drew just said?
I think this is
Everything
funny.
in the
We should
universe
keep
is
it
allowed
in.
to
Is
know
tri-state
that
area
we're in the
not
tri-state
term
area.
outside of our singular tri-state area?
No,
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
Is the state not part of its own tri-state area?
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, was Phineas and Ferb based on us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't they from Connecticut?
What?
Never mind. Anyway, music. Where were we?
No, wait, sorry. What is that,
Um,
Dylan?
Editor, cut that out.
Yeah, where were we?
Connecticut. Oh, how much should I cut out
I
of that?
forgot. I'm just gonna stop waffling. Oh yeah, genres aren't important. So now you've established that.
Yeah.
I guess what's the all right? Well, I do want to talk about. I do want to touch a little bit on pop as a genre because
Oh
I
yeah,
know
I have
Andrew,
a.
you brought up. Yeah, I was telling you
Do you want me to
referencing
explain
specifically.
my idea on what
Well,
pop is,
I would.
or
Well,
do you want to say something first?
I was just gonna say, cause you saying like giving your opinion made me ask like a few of my other friends like what they would define pop as.
Mm.
And a
But you
few
are
people
part
gave a
of the
few
music
different
spectrum.
answers. In my mind, pop is like it's its own genre. Like you can listen to a pop song and identify it. But and that's what like, one like a few people I've talked to would define it as. Other people would define it as what you would say, which is it's just what's popular at
Okay, yeah,
at the time.
I want to say when I was saying that, I didn't go fully into it, and there is a nuance I want to establish. I'll let you finish your idea, and then I'll describe what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's like,
Okay.
but then it creates, if pop is a genre,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then I feel like that, that makes sense. You can categorize, popular songs of today, be it like a Charlie XCX song, Taylor Swift song, Ariana Grande song, whatever, into pop. But if it isn't a genre, then, well, if it is a genre, or no, sorry, if it isn't a genre, then what are like songs from those artists I just mentioned? Are they genreless?
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
curious.
so first I want to establish my, because you said you had this viewpoint. I want to establish the other viewpoint, the one that I generally hold. I I think pop music is not a genre. I'm gonna coin a new I like phrase for it here. I'm gonna call it an attribute, where it is like an augmentation to a genre. So, for instance, the song "In the End" by Linkin Park. It's one of their people describe it as one of their poppier songs. What that means to me is it is catchier and has more radio like play potential. It's like very easy to play. People are going to listen to it, easy to listen to, easy to know the words, sing along, whatever. Um, but at the end of the day, it's on Hybrid Theory, which is a new metal album. Now, Linkin Park goes into other genres in different albums, but generally people agree Hybrid Theory is a new metal album. So that is a new metal song with pop attributes. I don't know if it like ever really charted on pop radio. Drew, if you want to look up
Absolutely.
person in the chair, um, double check. But so to me, that's what pop is. So then, if you want to take Taylor Swift, for instance, her music is certainly pop music, right? It's played all the time on pop radio, all that stuff. But she started out as a country rock singer, and I think she's transitioned more into like soft rock. Uh, Truth be told, I haven't listened to her newest stuff. Just I'm basing this off of
You don't have to.
yeah, I'm basing this off of I believe that album was the Red album called Red, something like that. Like the album with like
Yeah.
22, I Knew You Were Trouble, all that stuff. It's like a soft rock album with pop influences. These songs got played all the time on radio. Everyone knew I knew the words. I never wanted to listen to that music, but I still learned them all just because they're very easy to pick up. The songs played all the time. Very catchy, get stuck in your head. Um, yeah, so I see pop music as an augmentation to a genre. Now, truth be told, you brought up Charlie XCX. I think I only know one song by her off the top of my head, and I don't even remember the name of that song. Was Boom Clap? That song's by her, right?
Um,
Like Boom
is it?
Clap, the sound of my
I
heart.
only bring up Charlie XCX because she made Brat, and that's like the
Yeah,
pop album of the
Boom.
summer.
I
Okay,
haven't
yeah,
heard the song. I think I have heard the song, but I
Boom
just
Boom
put
Yeah, that's
Clap
right.
is
I
a
honestly
song
haven't
by
heard a
Charlie
song off it.
XCX.
It's just you can't escape it.
By the
Um,
way, I did the fact checking here.
Mhm.
The question was if it charted. I believe you said
Yeah,
number 2 in the U.S.
on pop charts.
Oh boy.
Um, number 1 on the pop songs chart for
Oh,
5 weeks.
interesting. And that's in the end you're talking about, right?
In the end, yes.
Yeah. So I don't think
That's crazy.
I would
That
think
shit hit number one just like again recently.
probably when they did the Hybrid Theory, like 20th anniversary thing, they probably
No, I mean
re-released
like
it.
as soon as their new single came out.
Oh, well, I think that's more based on like plays and relevancy like on the iTunes store or like Spotify, stuff like that, because as people are like, oh shit, Linkin Park's back together, let me go and listen to them. Oh yeah, let me listen to this banger too. It's just gonna like inflate their plays. Um, but yeah,
Hey, no,
so
that's not inflation. That's well deserved.
yeah, I mean, I agree, but beside the point. So yeah, my overall point here, Dylan, is I don't think anyone would describe Linkin Park as a pop band. I don't even think most people would describe In the End as a pop song, and yet it charted on pop radio. So that's why I don't think saying pop as is a genre means anything, because what's popular today is like a lot of R&B, dance music, whereas, 10 years ago it was like a lot of EDM, some rap, stuff like that. 20 years ago, evidently it was, harder rock. Creed was popular on radio, right? Like they're a post-grunge band that sounds kind of silly, but they were still doing well. Like everyone knows Higher by Creed that comes on, at I want to go into a side tangent about the dining hall uh, at the school I go to, because their playlist is crazy. But beside the point, like all these different bands that you don't expect to be pop because they're defined by other genres have songs that are pop songs. So that's the end of my point. I'll pass it back off if anyone wants to
I
go back
have
into
a
it.
completely different opinion about pop music, actually.
Okay.
And for the record, it's correct and should be treated as such.
Of course, of course.
There's a hole in your argument, and
Okay.
it's not a very big one, but it is there. And that's that, like, okay, consider somebody like Madonna.
Okay.
She had music coming out in like 1980,
Mm-hmm.
but you would still call her music pop today. No one gives a fuck about Madonna anymore, though. No,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, most people younger than us have not heard a single song by her. But what else could you possibly call her music except for pop?
Well,
It's
isn't it?
probably like 80s dance
Wasn't I might
rock,
have
I
misunderstood what Andrew was
guess.
talking about. Wasn't the point of as of when the song came out?
Yeah, well, Nick just said that
Yeah, my
the
point is
songs are
that shit
still
is
called
not
pop
fucking that
today.
is not popping anymore, not at all.
Yeah, but I'm saying it gains the pop moniker of if it was
Yeah, but I also
popular
made the
at
point that
release,
people
and it
wouldn't
keeps the
call
pop
In the
moniker.
End a pop song because
Yeah,
it's
despite
easily
it charting
defined
on
into
pop
another
radio.
genre. I think the
Okay.
issue is that pop became such a huge industry that uh, people were like okay with labeling pop that they didn't really go into what else it would be. Because like if I'm thinking about Madonna, that is just like 80s dance rock, right? Like keyboards, some
That's not
come.
rock.
I mean, what's
It's
the
a
instrumentation like in a
rock,
Madonna song?
dude. Well, for me to call it bad,
Yeah, that's not
Is
what
there
I'm
just like a
asking
not
lot
about.
awful,
of
but
like a lot of
it's just
synths?
it's a lot of synths and really nothing else.
Vocals,
Like,
guitar. What the fuck does that even mean? That's the only
I don't.
instrument listed on this Wikipedia like
I don't.
suggested
I
thing.
don't. If it is a guitar, it's probably programmed.
Yeah.
Like there's no drums on any of that. If you listen to any song from the 80s, it's very likely that there's no drums on it. It's just a drum pad of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was new
I mean, that also
technology. It
begs
was
the
just cool to
question,
use
what
it.
makes something rock music? Does it have to have drums, guitar, bass, guitar? Like what constitutes it to be a rock song versus other
Isn't much
things?
the whole idea behind blues music, from my understanding, I guess I could do a little more research into it, is the minor key.
The what key?
Y'all even
You
minor.
left. Did you leave the pause just so we could react to you saying minor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
You
not
don't
gonna
know what the
lie.
minor key is? Well, I know you don't know what the minor key
You
is.
know I
I
can't
know what a
read
key is.
music. I know like minor and major exists. I forget which is which. Like I don't remember them.
I straight up
I'll
don't
give
even
it-
know what a key means.
I'll give a fast explanation, because it's confusing stuff, especially if you're not looking at a keyboard. But when you picture a keyboard, right, you see bunch of white keys, bunch of black keys.
Mm-hmm.
and the spacing between them varies. Like there isn't a black key between every white key. They come in groups of 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes a key, the easiest way to do it is by using C major, because C major is just white keys in a line. That's it. If you play nothing but white keys, your song's in C major.
So
And
that
that's
means you start
and
with
that's
the
just
C
because of the
key.
position. Yeah, you start with C, go
Okay.
up to the next C, and everything in between that is in the key. The black
Okay.
keys is where it gets weird, because they're spaced out in a way to make that key work. Now when you go, it's like, okay, specifically for that, all the black keys are left out because the spacing is between the. Okay, let me back up a little bit. There's 8 notes in an octave, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, there's 12 because that's how keys work. It's called an octave because
8.
of C major, actually. But the truth of the matter is, there's 12 because of the 5 sharp notes. And a key is broken down into 8 because it takes jumps, which are called whole steps because it skips the one in between them.
Okay.
And there are 2 half steps for every key, and major and minor changes where that step is. Like in pop music, you hear the major key all the time, just because it's a lot more listenable. C major has no sharp notes in it, which is why it's the pop sound, because everybody can easily listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp notes intrinsically sound shrill, and flat notes intrinsically sound boring, which is where blues music came in, and it added those notes to C major, and it made music sound sadder, or like more emotional, so people could be sad on the mic and still be like appreciated by audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where rock music came in. They wanted to use this new interesting key, but make it cooler, for lack of a better term.
What's the
Okay.
thing
And that's
about Oh, sorry, continue.
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't the thing with like the major and minor, like the scales, like major, like if it's a major key, it's meant to sound more settled. If it's a minor key, it's meant to sound more uncertain. Is that true? I
So
thought that's what it
uh,
was.
that's that sounds like what I was saying, except I never heard those terms before. So thank you.
Because like in my piano class I took for like 1 semester, we learned that yeah, like when you do any sort of like major any major scale from anywhere you start from, as long as it's a major, it's going to sound settled. As long as it's a minor, it's going to sound like uneasy, like
Yeah,
wherever you start from. So you're saying blues music is all minor scales?
yeah. At least that's where it came from.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And this is just assuming the use of C. Like there's you could of course like metal music generally, at least when metal music started existing, it was in E minor. Easy example of that is like Enter Sandman by Metallica. Everybody knows that song, everyone and their kid knows that song, everyone and their mom knows that song. Very simple E minor bullshit.
You're gonna
Sounds
kill me. I don't
cool.
know that song by name.
No
Look
way.
it up.
All right, look it up. Shout out Metallica.
Metallica fucking
The,
suck.
Or like a
the basic
Mid-Talica.
riff to that song is just yeah, for sure. The bass riff to that song is just E minor done simply.
Listen, man.
Everyone knows it. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's the metal sound." That's the point. It's
Metallica
just
ain't
like
got shit on Ghost Syndicate. That's all I'm saying.
nothing. Christmas release, man. Next
We
Christmas.
haven't released a single bad song, and they have
Okay,
many.
never mind. I remember this song.
Yeah, the critics, they know when to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah. Haven't heard one bad word from the critics about Ghost Syndicate.
And God bless it stays that way, please. Anyway, have I made my point clear enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So we
Someone else
so we're able
yeah.
to define rock, we're able to define blues, but
Mm-hmm.
we can't really define pop. It
Oh yeah, I
seems.
want to go on a tangent, or not tangent, add to what you were saying about Madonna. While she is generally regarded as a pop artist. She is also like regarded as an electronic or dance artist. So I suppose in my viewpoint she wouldn't be a pop artist. She would be a dance electronic with pop like high amounts of pop attributes, but still.
Alright, in which case then, going back to the Charlie XCX and Taylor Swift examples, I'm looking at their two albums that came out this summer, or this year at least, on Wikipedia. Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department is listed
Oh,
as synth pop, folk pop, and chamber pop. The Brat
Jesus.
album is listed as electro pop, club pop, hyper pop, electro clash, and dance. So, I mean, the Taylor Swift one's entirely pop in regards to like subgenres, and the
Yeah.
Charlie
But
XCX
I mean, you could
seem like dance
also
pop.
make the argument there that all those subgenres are not subgenres of pop necessarily. It's like a subgenre of folk, which is folk pop. I don't know what the fuck chamber is as a genre,
I have
but
no idea either, but I mean, there's presumably they're subgenres of pop, which would not imply that.
well,
I know it's
so would
Wikipedia,
you say alt
but
rock
like,
and alt metal are like subgenres of alternative? What is alternative?
well, if it's alt rock and alt metal, then isn't alt rock a subgenre of rock and alt metal's a subgenre of metal?
That's my point. Wouldn't folk pop be a subgenre of folk?
Well, synth pop, I'm just looking at the
I
example
mean,
again.
I
Like synth isn't
synth.
a genre.
Yeah, synth seems like a
Like
little too
pop,
generic.
pop as we know it, at least as we thought we knew it, is a genre.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, pop the definitions of what would be considered a pop genre would change depending on what's popular, which is why I was saying the thing about it being more of an attribute of music to be
Well,
popular.
I guess I can't ask this question to you because you haven't listened to the Tortured Poets Department. I'm not
No.
going to either, so I can't blame you. But like, I
Yeah,
guess
worst
if you
album
were
of
to
the year, to be honest.
That
I
is such
guess
a bad
then
name.
if you were to listen to it
Hmm.
and like you'd listen to it, you think about it, and then you're in two alternate universes, say one where the album is popular and then one where the album isn't popular. Like what would your opinion of a genre like change depending on whether it was popular like chart wise or not?
I feel like if it wasn't popular, people wouldn't call it pop music, right? Like, I mean,
But
Pop
there's
is
pop music that isn't popular and like is
wait,
very
just out of
isn't
curiosity, I'm
like
not trying to like do a gotcha thing. Can you name some so I can like familiarize myself? Because whenever I think of a pop artist, it's people who are popular.
honestly no, I can't.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. But the other thing is too that I wanted to bring up is when you were listing off all those genres, I knew your point was gonna come to these are like uh derivatives or pop. They are derived from pop. Uh, I guess what I would need to do to like fairly argue against that would be research each of those individually and see where their origins lie and if I would classify them as something else. But as we said at the start of this part of the discussion, genres are kind of meaningless. Like I could call something folk, you could call it folk pop, and like we could both be right. So maybe
I completely agree. The quality of the music is what matters, but I'm
yeah.
genuinely just curious because I've heard, because now I've heard both arguments. I don't think both arguments are wrong necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
It's
say. It
just
might just be up to the interpretation of the person, which is like
because
a
like
lame thing to say. Like, I guess we're both right, but like
like
honestly, I can see your side of the argument,
But
but
music is
yeah,
such a
and like
subjective
going back
thing.
and like to for your for like on your side, going back to like to jazz for example,
hmm
jazz when it was at its peak, and I kind of want to say it was the 40s, was considered it was jazz, but it was also jazz like as popular music. It was like even though the structure of
to
the
be
songs
fair,
hadn't necessarily
I
changed, it was
I'm
pop
gonna
music.
say something that maybe I'd eat my words for. I don't think pop really would have existed before at least the 60s. or maybe the 50s. I don't know. Like obviously radio existed back then, but uh,
You're saying because there was not enough possible, like not
like
a
like
possibility to
the
be
the
exposed to
industry
pop
didn't like
source of music.
exist the way it does today. Like you can't think of it the same. Like yeah, someone might walk into the, their local restaurant and say, "Hey, have you listened to the new this record? Quite good, I say." But like, it's not going to be like today where it's like, "Yo, Taylor Swift just dropped a new album. I'm about to listen to it. Yo, this is fire." Or in
Oh,
my
I'd
case,
love to hear a
not
dude from the
fire.
40s talking like that.
Have you listened to the new Taylor Swift album? Gotta say,
Oh man, that poetry slam,
that gal's got talent. Like
that was a
it,
real dinger. That one.
but yeah,
I'm
just
just trying to
not
understand
to
what you're
take away from
saying.
my point. I'm just saying that like the music industry was so different back then that saying jazz was pop music, yeah, it was popular within, a bunch of fields. People were going to clubs to listen to jazz music, live bands, whatever, all that. But it wasn't the same as it is now, or even
It
like
was
50
music
years ago.
wasn't as accessible, but major record labels still existed during the jazz era, and
But
they were
like
a lot of times very
I would just
strict
have
with
to
what they wanted
research
from
this
their
more.
artists. It's just that obviously the technology wasn't there yet to spread music to such a
Well, I
degree
mean,
like there is
almost
today.
every home probably. Well, I don't know if this stat is true, but I feel like a lot of homes had at least one radio in them, right? And probably a bunch of
Um,
Back
cars
in
did.
I mean, back in the 40s, like
Hold
I
on.
forget what
Is there a
year.
fact check
yeah,
going on?
this is a fact check that's gonna
Okay.
probably invalidate most of this discussion here. Um, the usage of coining songs as being pop songs started in the 20s,
Okay.
late
Interesting.
20s. It doesn't look like it was more widely used till the 50s. It seems is when it
Okay.
actually started
So
having
it
its
it did
use
So
now.
there's
exist
racial
then.
implications there.
Wait, but that's what I said, right? Jazz like was
Yeah.
considered popular music in the
Okay.
40s,
Yeah.
mid
Okay.
to late
Okay.
50s.
So maybe I took your statement and assumed it to be more than you intended it to be. I assumed you were stating that jazz was pop music in the way we view pop today, which is that what you were saying, or were you saying it was just the popular
No,
music of
but
the time?
it was viewed as pop music, and I guess what this was support you're saying, it was viewed as pop music as popular music because
Mm-hmm.
that's what was in America at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like nobody would listen to like John Coltrane or Miles Davis or whoever and be like, yeah, that's pop music. Like you wouldn't do it, at least not their older stuff. You
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. So I
I
don't
would
know.
never listen to them.
It's interesting. I could talk about this. You could talk about this longer, but I feel like we've kind of hit
Yeah, I don't
kind
know
of
if
like a
we're gonna like
standstill.
yeah, I don't know if we'll like I see your what you're saying, and I mean I just don't know enough about this. We got a fact check chimed in there, so
Yeah, me neither. We could just imagine we could just like call up Anthony Fantano in a
I
minute.
I
He would
did
just tell
do
us who's
yeah,
wrong.
call him
I
to meet
did a
us at the
slightly
corner so I can
different
jump him.
fact check earlier that I don't know how relevant it is, of just according to actual definition what constitutes a song being a pop song.
Mm,
And while it does still consider it a genre, it more so is actually kind of exactly what you were saying earlier of just being contemporary music meant to appeal to a wide audience,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
kind of like if you
Contemporary
don't
is
you want
referring
your
to like
music to be
relevant to the time, right? That's what
yeah,
contemporary
yes,
would mean. Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. So just music that is, from at least my interpretation of what it's saying here,
So
music that it is created with the intention of being not towards any more niche audience, but just widespread. Most people will like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's a
also harder to
relevant
comprehend.
genre that is then commercialized.
Not even just relevant genre,
Or taking
specifically.
an existing genre and then commercializing it would be pop, right?
I mean, it seems like it can even be not even taking an existing genre, but just like taking, like, you know how we were even saying at like at a certain point, sometimes with songs nowadays that are pop songs, it's hard to say exactly what it is
Mm-hmm.
aside from being pop. It kind of, this is less going towards the definition I'm finding, and more just even more of my own opinion. It's less
Mm-hmm.
of when you're making the song, you're not trying to hit like if you're making a rock song or like a metal song, you'll put in
Mm-hmm.
heavier vocals, heavier instruments. When you're making a pop song, instead of focusing on putting in specific stuff to hit different markers of a genre, you're instead looking to hit the markers of this is what people like in music. So you might be taking stuff of like, I don't know, fast lyrics from rap or something, but you're not doing it to hit the rap category. You're doing it to hit the people like it when people
Yeah. So what I'm
sing like
hearing
they're in a rap song.
is that for a Ghost Syndicate single, we should do like a traditional pop song and then just drop in some like, I don't know, corn scat level shit just in the middle, like completely unfitting.
I think that's
Some
been done
what
before.
level stuff?
All right.
No,
I
that was not a bit. I actually had no idea what you just said.
scat. Scat is a
Do you mean,
word for shit, but
but
it's also
did you mean scat as in like the beep bit about
yeah.
that's the okay, okay.
You
That's
said
what it's
corn
called.
before all that.
I
Yeah,
thought you
corn
you said I
scat.
didn't hear corn. I thought when you said scat, I only heard scat and we were just talking about metal, so I thought you were like talking about like
Shit.
referencing a band called Scat that just has like gross vocals.
Oh
Dude, that
man.
sounds like a great
Look
gore
out
metal
for my
band.
side project, Scat.
Scat is definitely something I would have like a single scat song on my playlist and listen to it once, and then when it comes on, skip it but refuse to take it off my playlist.
No, I think you just
Oh man,
actually
I've
like
had too
it.
many of those.
I would also just like it, yes.
Yeah, your playlist, that should be a fucking talking point on this.
I kind of want to clean up my playlist and just remove the stuff I don't listen to at all anymore, and then we can just go over it one day and just see the stuff that's on there.
I actually have no idea what's on there. I'd be
Alright.
curious to do that.
You haven't seen it? Oh, it's perfect. We'll do a live Dylan reaction.
Oh, can't wait.
Alright, so I think we honestly covered a lot of what we wanted to talk about. Yeah, so next time we're going to be discussing a movie called I Saw the TV Glow, which stars everyone's favorite, well, not stars, features everyone's favorite actor, Frederick
Dude,
Durst.
I really was expecting to be talking about the main character's actor. I'm like, does he know who Justice Smith is? And then I
No.
remembered who's in that
Nobody
movie.
knows who Justice Smith
And
is.
Justice Smith was in the
maybe-
Dune movie.
I know who he is. He's good.
Yeah, I don't know him by
He
name.
was in Detective Pikachu.
Oh,
Was.
that guy, yeah. Maybe we'll also get into the sub point for what we were supposed to talk about here with, is it possible to call new metal music? I love new metal, just want to establish that, but we'll talk about that next time.
I would like a little bit of
maybe.
elaboration on
Travis
that
has listened
topic
to
too
new metal.
between episodes. Just so
Yeah.
I'm prepared for that
But
topic.
anyways, so that's been episode 1, guys. Hope you enjoyed season 2's start. We'll catch you next time in our... we haven't decided the upload schedule, but it'll be a schedule.
Certainly a schedule.
Next
That's
Christmas
just in
for sure.
2027, idiots.
At some
Next
point by
Christmas.
next Christmas.
All right. See ya.